Hi, my name is Tanwa Ashiru, and welcome to the Focus Lab, where we cut through the noise, build discipline, and grow into the people that God designed us to be. So, let me tell you a little story about a hangout I had recently that I was able to turn into a meaningful sort of hangout session. I know one of those hangouts where you're supposed to keep things light, vibes, food, laughter, small talk, that stuff. Yeah, I really struggle in those sort of settings. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good time. I'll laugh, I'll eat, I'll gist, and, throw in some well timed jokes and sarcasm. But somewhere in the middle of all these jokes and laughing and hanging out, I always feel this nudge to just go a little deeper because I believe that every moment is an opportunity for something meaningful. And so if you ask the right questions, even while you're hanging out with people, you can actually turn a regular conversation into a masterclass. And that's exactly what I did. So there I was, chilling at this leisure spot. Everyone was relaxed. There was music in the background, drinks were flowing, and I was having a great conversation with a group of people. And one of the guys in the group was actually, someone that does pretty well for himself. And in between the banter, I leaned in and I asked him a question. I said, "You know what? I have a question for you." He was like, "Go ahead." I said, "So if you had to teach a master class on building wealth, what would your 3 modules be?" And he looked at me, he smiled, he paused, and he said, Tanwa, that's a really good question. And yes, I love it when people say that when I ask a good question. So yeah. And he goes, "Okay, you know what? Here are my 3 modules. No, module 1 would be how to create wealth." He said, "First, I'd like to start on how do you create the wealth?" Now, this isn't about getting rich quick. It's about creativity. It's about innovation, awareness, boldness. He talked about the abundance of opportunities that exist today. The global markets, digital spaces, scalable ideas. I mean, but he says, but you've got to be able to see that all these opportunities exist. You've got to believe that the funding for your ideas, for your goals, that they actually exist and that your idea is also valid. And that the table, all right, is big enough for everyone. The table is not full. It just needs you to show up with something valuable. And he said, "You know what? You've got to learn how to also turn your passion into something profitable. Don't be afraid to ask and ask anyone who knows you, hey, how can this thing that I love doing so much actually help solve a problem?" And that is where money comes in. That's how you create wealth. So, what's the key lesson? Well, first off, creativity is not a hobby, it's a tool. God gave all of us talents, okay? That's a tool for you. Number 2, opportunities are not rare. They're just hidden in plain sight. So you really, when I pray on this matter, I always pray for God to open my eyes to opportunities. Opportunities are hiding in plain sight. And the third thing is building wealth actually starts with believing that you belong in that conversation. Now, module 2, he said, the module 2 would be about how to keep the wealth. Now, I thought he was going to go straight into trusts, investment portfolios, tax shields. And yes, he acknowledged all of those things. But then he said something that really stuck with me. He goes, "Oh, no, Tanwa, that's not the case. Keeping wealth is more than just strategy. It's actually a mindset." Oof, let that sink in. Wealth isn't just about how much you have. It's about your relationship with what you have. And he said, "You know what? If your mindset is scarcity driven, if it's self sabotaging, or if it's constantly comparing, you'll bleed wealth in ways that you don't even see." And so we talked about some of those sort of wealth keeping mindsets. One was contentment, just the mindset where you're content. We're saying don't settle, but stay grounded, be at peace with what you have and where you are. Number 2 is discipline, that ability to delay your gratification so that you can invest a bit longer term. That is another mindset that's needed. Number 3 was gratitude. Gratitude will help keep you from spiraling into entitlement or greed. It actually helps you remember where you came from and for you to stay humble. And number 4 is legacy thinking, understanding that you're building not just for yourself, but for other people as well. So not just for your family, but also for your community, for those around you. And he said something too. He goes, listen, Tanwa, at the end of the day, money responds to mindset. And if you don't shift internally, your bank balance won't matter at all. And there we are. It's supposed to be a casual conversation. It was casual, but listen, we turned it into a meaningful conversation. Module 3, he said, will be the role of faith. And I was honestly stunned. I mean, and he saw the look on my face and said, I know. I don't look like a pastor, I don't dress like that. But I also don't joke with my faith, and I don't joke with my God. And God truly is my ultimate wealth partner. I thought, wow, that's interesting. So you talked about the role of God in setting up divine appointments. And we know this, right? God is the one who opens those doors that you didn't even plan for. He's the one that gives you that favor that you didn't even earn, helps you with those connections that you couldn't have orchestrated at all, right? So I call those God moments, and we don't talk about them enough, I think, in wealth conversations. So I found it very interesting that another thing that came up was actually the Bible verse, Deuteronomy 8:18, which says, but remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth. And so we're not in a hustle culture at all. This is truly, truly a grace-driven growth. And so, yeah, module 3, I think, reminded me that even in ambition, God truly must remain our source. And so that casual conversation actually became a deep moment of reflection. And let's go over the breakdown again, because I think it's a good thing for even you to reflect on. So module 1, which is create wealth. All right, let's learn how to embrace our creativity, see the abundance that is around you, and learn how to monetize the value that you bring. Module 2 was about keeping the wealth. So how do you shift your mindset and understand that wealth grows where wisdom flows? And module 3 was about faith, partnering with God and staying rooted in prayer, in purpose, and in obedience. And so here's something I want you to try to do this week. Whenever you do go out, you're hanging out with your friends, etc., or just with a group of people, whoever it is, or even with a mentor or a senior person, ask them very quickly and casually, say, listen, if you had to teach a masterclass on wealth, what would your modules be? And really, it could be anything. If you had to teach a masterclass on art, if you had to teach a masterclass on parenting, if you had to teach a masterclass on working out, what would your modules be? All right. And then I want you to really listen and, share yours as well. This is how powerful conversations happen. And hey, if you want more tools like this, then I want you to head over to tanwaashiru.com and join the Focus Tribe community. It's where we build the habits and have the conversations and say the prayers, really, that keep our lives on the wealthy path, both inside and outside. So thanks for tuning in to the Focus Lab podcast. Remember, clarity comes with discipline, growth starts with stillness, and your purpose deserves your full attention. So until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, stay focused.